Today's video starts in your new packet on page 1, the problem of the day. Fill in each shape by the percent below. So you're going to be coloring some of these circles and rectangular arrays here to represent percent per 100. And yes, I want you to do all of page 1 and all of page 2, including the bonus ones. Give it a shot. Do your best. Now on to percents and fractions. To write a fraction as a percent, you can use a proportion. So express 5/8 as a percent. And yes, you can do the product of the means. 8x equals 5 times 100. Divide by 8 and you get 62.5. 5/8 is 62.5%. Express 15/16 as a percent. And again, product of the means, 16 times n equals the product of the extremes, 15 times 100. Divide by 16, and you get 93.75%. The third example here, off to the side, express 1/400 as a percent. This is another way that you could do it. You could divide 1 by 400, and you get the decimal 25/10,000ths. And then move the decimal 2 places to the right to make it a percent. It's like multiplying by 100, and you get 25/100ths of a percent. Very small number. So you could do it also through division, not as a proportion. To write a percent as a fraction, write the fraction with a denominator of 100. So now we're changing a percent to a fraction. So percent per means the fraction line, and cent means centimeter, century. Cent means 100. Then write the fraction in simplest form. So 24% would be 24 over 100. Greatest common factor is 4. You get 6/25. 87.5%, not as easy. One way you could do it is change it to the mixed number, or leave it as the mixed number, 87.5 over 100. Improper, it's 175 over 2. Keep it, change it, flip it, because you're really doing 175 over 2 divided by 100 over 1. Well, we don't divide fractions. We multiply by the multiplicative inverse. And yes, you could cross cancel here because 100 has 4 25s in it. And 175 has 7 25s in it, and you would get 7/8. Express each fraction as a percent. So I could do the division method, 1 divided by 8, and slide it over 2, or I can do the proportion method and cross multiply. So 8x equals 100. So dividing by 8, I get that x equals 12.5%. And I'm not going to have enough room to do all of them. But number 2 is an easy one because I know through equivalent fractions that 5 times 20 is 100. So 3 times 20 equals 60. This answer is 60%. I could do it through equal ratios. I don't have to do the cross multiplying 5x equals 300. Number 5, 19/25. Also a number, the denominator easily goes into 100. So I would do it the equal ratio way and say, oh, times 4 would give me 76%. Make sure you put a percent symbol on your answer. 4.5, I'm automatically going to change it to 9/2 equals what over 100. And again, I can do equal ratio way, or I could say 2x equals 900 and divide by 2. Yes, I'm going to get 450 either way. So yes, 4 is a number greater than 1 because 1 equals 100%. If you ate all one whole part of your cookie, you ate 100% of your cookie. So 4.5 makes sense, would make 450%. 4 over 1,600. Ooh, 4 over 1,600. Well, what does that equal over 100? Well, I could divide 4 by 16. That's one way I could do it. Or I could cross multiply and say, oh, 1,600x has to equal the product of the extremes, which is 400. Dividing by 1,600. I know I'm going to divide 4 by 16 in the long run. And yes, I get 25 hundredths of a percent for, because that is the same as the ratio 1 to 4 that we saw above here. This is the same ratio, 1 to 4. So this answer we've already seen right here. I knew I recognized that one. Okay, so changing a percent or the percent to a fraction in simplest form. Well, percent means 40 over 100 percent. Well, that's 4/10, which I know simplifies to 2/5. So I simplified it really quick, taking a 10 off the numerator and the denominator. 56 over 100. Well, they have a 4 in common, and that would be 14/25. 4 over 100. Well, they have a 4 in common. That's 1/25. 540%. Well, I know I have 54/10, which is the same as 5 and 4/10, which I can also reduce that to 5 and 2/5. Yes, anything over 100% is going to be a number greater than 1. Ooh, 2/10%. 2/10. This is how I would do this. I would say, oh, can't have a decimal in your rational number, so I'm going to multiply by 10, multiply by 10. So now I have 2 over 1,000, which they have 2 in common. That's the same as 1/500th. 1/500th. Next page. Percents and decimals. To change a decimal to a percent, I know I'm going to slide it 2 to the right, and vice versa. When I change a percent to a decimal, I'm going to go 2 to the left. To write a decimal as a percent, multiply the decimal by 100. Then slide it 2 to the right, and use the percent symbol. To change a percent to a decimal, you're going to divide by 100, which means I'm going to go 2 to the left, as you can see in the examples there. Express 725% as a decimal. And you can see going to left, right? A decimal to a percent, I go 2 to the right. But a percent to a decimal, I go 2 to the left. And the last one, a percent to a decimal, to left. Wow, that's 1,500 thousandths. Express each decimal as a percent. So decimal to a percent, 2 to the right. That's 67%. 2 to the right, that's 14%. 2 to the right, that's 9%. 2 to the right, so this is really easy. Multiplying by 100, that's what you're doing. 8 and 4/10%. 2 to the right, anything over 1 is going to be a number over 100. So this is a 5 in something, so this makes sense. 579%. Ooh, tiny percent. 1/10 of a percent. Express the percent as a decimal. So a percent to a decimal, right? Percent to a decimal. Oh, I like to do it the other way. Percent to a decimal, I like to do it this way. 2 left, and you'll see, I call it FDP. 95%, I'm going to go left, I'm going to divide by 100, 95 hundredths. 2 left, I'm going to get 12 hundredths. Ooh, 2 left, 100%, yeah, that's 1. That's the whole number 1. 7 and 5/10, da-dum. Oh, that's a tiny percent. That's 75 thousandths. 300%, well, if 100% is 1, 300% would be the whole number 3. 115%, dun-dun-dun-dun. 1 and 15 hundredths. Ooh, tiny, tiny percent. I'm going to go 2 to the left here, and I get decimal point 0, 0, 1, 2, 5, and I get 125 hundred thousandths. And that's it for today's video.